Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
A mom lost in the mail. It sounds like a dark joke, but for one family, it's a living nightmare.
The cremated ashes of a mother were mailed out of Grand Forks, but her son in Indiana says they never arrived.
Valley News Team's Ryan Laughlin tells us what happened and who family members believe should be held responsible.
We know the ashes of Mary Mink made it at least this far to the Grand Forks post office, but search the tracking number and it only comes up as dead mail. Now his son wants somebody to take accountability for losing the remains of his mother.
I'm devastated, man. It's unbelievable.
Donald Mink's mother, Mary, had dementia and was in a nursing home in Cavalier, North Dakota.
She got put on hospice on a Monday and passed away on a Thursday.
That was back in February. 4 months later, he's still waiting to lay her to rest.
And my mom would be buried between my grandma and grandpa at Wesley Chapel in Austin, Indiana.
Instead, her remains are lost.
And my biggest thing is, I don't see how nobody can be held accountable for this. Nobody's taking responsibility.
She was sent here to the North Valley Crematory. Then her ashes were sent to the Grand Forks post office to be sent to her son in Indiana.
Obviously, they didn't know what they were doing.
On the U.S. Postal Service website, it lays out guidelines for how human ashes should be shipped. Donald says they didn't follow those rules.
The way I understand this is, that did not happen. That box was put into an envelope.
He says the envelope was recovered, the contents inside still missing.
It's been 4 months and I just feel like it's never going to be found.
The U.S. Postal Service says they are keenly aware of the desire to locate this missing item and are working to do so now. Now, when human remains are shipped, they're usually done so with a sticker that looks like this. That way everybody knows what is in the package. It's unclear if this was used or if there was any wrongdoing in how this thing was shipped. We'll continue to follow this developing story. From Grand Forks, I'm Ryan Laughlin, Valley News Live.
There is a possible civil lawsuit coming. Mink has been in contact with a Fargo attorney.
The Grand Forks Police Department is asking for your help finding a missing 17-year-old. Mason Komrowski was last seen this past Friday. You're asked to call police at 787-8000 if you have any information.
A Minnesota man has been sentenced to more than 50 years in prison for kidnapping and raping a 5-year-old girl after killing her babysitter. 33-year-old Jacob Kinn of Bemidji was sentenced today after pleading guilty to the charges. Investigators say he admitted to having a sexual relationship with Melissa Norby, the kidnapping victim's babysitter, who was later found dead. Norby's body was found after a mobile home fire that appeared to have been a case of arson that was tied to Kinn. He was an early suspect because of a previous child pornography charge, and investigators later found that he and Norby had planned to abduct the 5-year-old girl to sexually assault her.
A couple cars at a salvage yard in North Fargo caught fire this afternoon. This is video from our Skycam of the large smoke cloud seen earlier today. The fire department says employees at 7th Avenue Auto were using torches to cut apart two pickups when the trucks caught fire. When crews arrived on the scene, the two trucks were fully engulfed, but the fire was put out in about 10 minutes.
Still dealing with cooler and windy conditions, but nothing to worry about, right? Well, let's double check with Hutch. What are you expecting for our Monday night, Hutch?
Well, temperatures are warmer than they've been for the last couple of days. Mid-70s across the Red River Valley, some 60s across western Minnesota this evening. The wind taking a little bit of a break out there. The shower activity has shifted well off to the east near Duluth. As we take a look at temperatures region-wide, we have 69 in Bemidji as things start to warm up. Still below average for this time of the year, but warmer areas on the way. More on that in a minute. Right now, your planner for tonight in Fargo shows temperatures cooling rapidly, especially after sunset, light winds and quiet conditions to start out our work week. Thunder and lightning return to the forecast. A few storms could be severe, and some of us could get some measurable rain. I'll have details on all of that in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Hutch. And if you want to keep up on the very latest conditions, weather-wise, where you live, download the Valley News Live Storm Team weather app. You will get the latest forecast, conditions, even follow the radar live. Just search VNL Weather in the App Store and download it for free.
A traffic stop in Fargo turned up drugs earlier this afternoon. 33-year-old Kayla Byer faces charges of possessing meth and drug paraphernalia. It happened near the Come On Inn, near the Fargo-Moorhead Convention and Visitors Bureau. Officers were tipped off that the driver may have been on drugs. Police tell us they searched the vehicle and found a small amount of meth.
Thanks to several tips, Stutsman County authorities were able to track down a fugitive. 57-year-old James Storley was arrested yesterday near Montpelier, North Dakota. He was wanted on numerous drug-related charges. He was arrested at an abandoned trailer home without incident.
A semi-driver was hurt in a rollover crash in Otter Tail County. It happened early this morning in the westbound lane of I-94, just north of Fergus Falls. According to the Minnesota State Patrol, the semi went onto the shoulder of the highway and entered the center ditch. The driver was able to get back onto the road, but the contents of the trailer shifted, causing the truck to roll on its side. The semi came to a rest partially in the ditch and partially in the left lane, blocking traffic. The driver from Tampa, Florida, was taken to Lake Region Healthcare in Fergus Falls to be treated for injuries that are not life-threatening.
A Minnesota judge is considering whether Governor Mark Dayton's veto of the legislature's funding was unconstitutional. This is a bitter legal dispute between the Democratic governor and the Republican-controlled legislature. The judge is also considering an amendment between the two sides to temporarily fund the legislature through October while the case plays out. It's unclear when a decision may come. Governor Dayton zeroed out the legislature's funding last month to force lawmakers to rework a $650 million tax bill and other measures. The legislature's argue was that it's a blatant violation of separation of powers, but the governor says he has broad authority to veto appropriations.
The construction continues in the West Fargo area. 8th Street West from Main Avenue to 2nd Avenue West will be closed down for quite some time. There's some underground work going on there, so the road will be closed until September 1st. However, crews are hoping to get done before that date.
And there's more delays for motorists in East Grand Forks as traffic will be reduced to a single lane across the Highway 2 Kennedy Bridge. The lane closures are to allow crews to drive pilings through the bridge deck as part of the construction of a new pier. The additional lane closures are expected to last through the end of the week.
UND has been awarded a $3.8 million grant to help the school combat drug addiction. The money will be used to help get professionals to use instruments that have a high degree of reliability to assess alcohol and drug use, and then include those practices in the nursing, social work, and psychology curriculums. The funding puts the University of North Dakota at the regional forefront of a nationwide effort to combat the effects of drug abuse, especially related to the overdose epidemic of opioids, such as fentanyl, carfentanil, and others. The grant comes from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
It's that time of year again, time for mosquito spraying. An aerial application is scheduled for tonight in Oxbow, weather permitting. If it's too windy, it'll be done tomorrow night. The mosquito control product that's being used will not harm people, pets, or gardens. However, as an added measure of safety, you should remain indoors while the application is taking place.
Locking your car may not be enough to protect against prowlers because police say thieves are targeting locked cars. Later on Valley News Live at 6, how they're getting inside.
We welcome back the 70s today across the valley as we start the work week off with some sunshine. Thunder and areas of heavy rain are in the forecast. I'll have details coming up right after this.